Loretta Carol. I started working for CSEA in 1984 in the steno pool, what was then the steno pool. It's now the Records Maintenance Department. I was clerk typist / receptionist. The part I hated the most was being on the switchboard. So I worked very hard trying to get out of that department. I went to night school, and wonderful part of working for CSEA is they paid for all the education that I wanted to have, and I was able to get an executive secretary position in the executive office, and I worked there for the last 12 years. I saw a lot. I worked for 3 statewide secretaries, Irene Carr being the first one, and she had a lot of history. She was very involved in the history of CSEA. Then I worked for Candy Saxton for a brief period, and then Barbara Reeves, the present statewide secretary.
You're going to tell the stories about all 3 of them, aren't you? Because this is all for CSEA. This doesn't go on.
Irene was, I admired her very much because she was a great woman. She was all for women's causes, children, and she worked very hard at her job, and I did admire her a lot. Candy I liked very much. She wasn't there very long. They had another election, and Barbara Reeves won the election.
Give us some personal recollections of these people. We want to know what made them tick, and how they did it.
Irene was driven. She was she was very much for the underdog, and I learned a lot of union lingo and causes from her. Candy, I really didn't know that well, but she was a wonderful person. Barbara is just the greatest speaker she has, and she fights for her causes and gets people going. She's a very kind and caring person.
So what makes CSEA CSEA? What have you learned about the history of CSEA that you can tell us, we can share with the people? The labor organization, I didn't really know much about it at all when I started here, and fighting for workers' rights, and I enjoyed the rallies and the I'll always remember Dan Campbell with his bullhorn and I know, it was sad to lose him, and just knowing that there's somewhere people can go to fight for their jobs. And people at CSEA, from the legal department through our officers, really do care about these people. Do you have any memories of actual instances where things like that? What happened? I mean, how did these things happen? Who did what?
I can't think of anything specifically right now. I do remember that there was a few people that would call, and I would go to bat for them with the officers or whatever officer was involved or department involved, because they were nice on the phone.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Local leaders and things, you mean?
No, they were just, they seemed to be wronged, and rightly complaining, but in a nice way, and kind of desperately looking for help.
So,
It's-
so what makes CSEA CSEA? What are you most proud of about CSEA?
I think their dedication to the working people.
Yeah, that's a good word. Dedication. Because I believe that. I
Mhm.
really believe they are. Yeah. On the other side of the coin, what are you most disappointed by at CSEA in your time there?
I'm not prepared for these questions.
That's why
I
asked
don't.
them.
I know. I'm really not sure.
You're
I just,
disappointed.
well, personally, a few things, but I just, one thing that they have two house unions within CSEA, HSU, and FSA. One thing I would like to have seen is somewhere management people could have gone
Okay.
for problems
Yeah. Now you were part of rallies and demonstrations and things, right?
once in a while.
Once in a while. What do you see as the most important events during your time of involvement with CSEA? What are the big things that happened that you saw?
That last, well, the contract for one, the last contract.
That was a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
Fight, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what did you see? What happened?
Well, just the number of people that came out, with the buses and the rallies, and it was, that was something to see for staff. And I, as a staff person, enjoyed, because I did the board minutes and the delegates meeting minutes, and I always enjoyed meeting the members and talking to different people, and got to be really friendly with some of them, and got to see the other side.
Well, if you did the board minutes and delegate meetings, you know some of the infighting that went on.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you
I
tell
know
me
a lot
about
of that. I don't want to talk about that, though.
That's what we want you to talk about.
My first experience was when they fired the law firm. I wasn't really, I was on the fringes of that. I had just started for CSEA, and I was in the back of the room, and I really didn't understand everything that was going on.
But you saw things.
Saw things. I guess I did, but I don't remember anything.
Oh, taking the fifth, huh? Okay, all right. All right, now how long did you work for CSEA?
18 years.
18 years. So you know a lot of the recent history of CSEA and probably before that, but what lessons do you think CSEA's history holds for CSEA's future?
I'm really not sure how
Well,
to answer that.
If you had a message for the future CSEA people who are going to be working with Danny and whoever succeeds Danny, what would you tell them about CSEA that they should know and they should about the history and the progression of the union?
One thing is not to lose sight of the history, to get to know as much as they can about the organization by reading the Constitution, and get involved in the rallies, not the strike actions and all the things, just to get to know what the members are fighting for.
Good. The basics.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget the basics. That's good. Anything else you want to say? Because we're here. Tape is rolling, and this is your opportunity. If you have a message for anybody, or have a remembrance of anything you want to get onto the record.
Not really. It's
No.
just that it was really a good experience for me, and I enjoyed working there.